Alcohol, because bad decisions needed a fuel source. 1. The man who reported himself missing. In Wisconsin, one man drank himself straight into an existential crisis. He called 911 on himself to report that he was missing. When asked where he was, he said, "If I knew that, I wouldn't be missing." The police found him safe, on his own porch, holding his phone like a lost compass of life. The only thing truly missing was his dignity. Nietzsche would have been proud. 2. Bacon double cheeseburger, Esca. Somewhere in Ireland, a man got blackout drunk and decided the best life choice was a legal name change to Bacon double cheeseburger. The next morning, bureaucracy had already processed it. Imagine walking into HR like, "Hi, I'm Bacon. Please don't grill me about the paperwork." Proof that alcohol doesn't erase problems. It rebrands them into fast food mascots. 3. The mirror marriage. A woman in Las Vegas got drunk and married her hotel mirror. Full ceremony, vows, kiss, the whole romantic package. Her reasoning? "No one understands me like me." Honestly, she's not wrong, but therapy's cheaper than champagne. When she sobered up, she tried to annul it. Somewhere, her reflection is still silently judging her commitment issues. 4. Operation Penguin Rescue. In England, a man went out for just a few drinks and woke up to find a penguin in his bathtub. Turns out, the night before, he'd broken into a marine park and rescued it because it looked cold. That's right, he committed felony-level animal kidnapping out of drunk empathy. When police arrived, they found him wrapped in a towel, trying to feed the penguin fish sticks. His defense? It was shivering. The penguin was fine. The man, however, had to explain to a judge that his motive was compassion under the influence. It's hard to say what's worse, the crime itself, or that he thought a bathroom was a natural habitat. If Disney ever makes a spin-off of Finding Nemo, this one's called Losing Sobriety. Mustive, the Taco Bell heel phone. Florida always delivers. A woman there once got so drunk she tried to order Taco Bell through her shoe. She held her stiletto up to her ear, yelled "hello" for 15 minutes, and accused the employee of hanging up on her. Her friends filmed the entire thing, which is how we know she also complained about bad reception. When confronted later, she defended herself with the immortal words, "Well, it's Bluetooth." Somewhere in Silicon Valley, a tech engineer felt a sudden, unexplained migraine. Apple gave us smartwatches, Florida gave us smart shoes, and humanity collectively took a step backward, in heels. 6. The Uber for pizza. That never moved, an Australian man got drunk, ordered a pizza, and then ordered an Uber to deliver it. From his own house to his own house, he literally paid someone to walk into his kitchen, hand him his pizza, and leave. The driver, bless his professionalism, completed the trip. The man rated him 5 stars for efficiency. Economists would call this a market inefficiency. Philosophers would call it peak modern laziness. Personally, I call it the only delivery system where you are both the sender and the receiver. Humanity has invented the wheel, flight, and Wi-Fi, and this guy invented teleportation without moving. 7. The woman who joined her own missing person search. In Iceland, a tourist got blackout drunk during a group tour. The next morning, the guide reported a woman missing, describing her as Asian, wearing dark clothes about 5'6". Concerned, the woman joined the search party herself. For hours, she helped look for herself. It wasn't until someone read the description aloud again that she realized, wait, that's me. She politely informed the rescue team that she'd been found. Somewhere out there, a rescue log still says, "Subject located, assisted in her own discovery." Philosophers call this self-awareness. Drunk people call it Tuesday. 8. The man who tried to hug a tiger. Somewhere in New Zealand, a man got drunk, looked at a zoo and thought, "You know what that tiger needs? A hug." Security cameras later showed him scaling the fence, slipping, and landing inside the enclosure like a burrito of bad ideas. The tiger, understandably confused, was not in a cuddly mood. The man survived with scratches, shame, and a lifetime ban from every zoo in the country. His excuse? It looked friendly. That's right. Alcohol gave him Disney-level optimism in a National Geographic situation. Nature doesn't do hugs, buddy. It does headlines that start with "Man learns lesson." 9. The raccoon bar tab. In Ohio, a man tried to pay his bar tab with a live raccoon. He slammed it on the counter and declared, He's worth at least 20 bucks. The bartender disagreed, possibly because the raccoon looked ready to unionize. When refused, the man stormed out, raccoon in hand, shouting that this bar doesn't respect real currency. Police later found him asleep in a park, cuddled up with his furry accountant. No one knows what happened to the raccoon, but local wildlife probably has a new legend about the night their cousin almost became legal tender. 10. The cheeseburger cult. In London, a woman got drunk, opened Uber Eats, and ordered $400 worth of cheeseburgers. That's 30 burgers, enough to feed an army or start a small religion. Then she promptly fell asleep. When the driver arrived, he had to stack them at her door like a greasy offering. She woke up surrounded by cold burgers and regret. Her friends said it looked like the world's saddest McDonald's seance. Her only defense? It was self-care. Sure, and I guess 30 cheeseburgers are just 30 emotional support patties. 11. The motivational car whisperer. In Texas, a man got drunk and lost his car keys. Instead of looking for them, he tried to start the engine by yelling at it. For 5 straight minutes, he shouted, "Go!" at his car like it was a stubborn horse. When that didn't work, he threatened to fire it. Neighbors called the cops thinking someone was having a breakdown. Turns out, his keys were chilling in the fridge, next to his beer. When asked why, he said, "They were hot." This man didn't just lose his keys. He lost the argument to physics. 12. The snowman that got arrested. In Michigan, a group of college students got drunk and decided to build a snowman. Not just any snowman, a 12-foot-tall ice giant that completely blocked traffic. When police arrived, they found it standing proudly in the middle of the road, wearing a traffic cone hat like a frozen crown. The students defended themselves, saying, "We didn't think it would work," which is also the unofficial motto of every drunk idea ever. They named it Frosty the Felon, and for one glorious night, he was the tallest criminal in town. 13. The eco-friendly DUI. In Scotland, a man got drunk and tried to drive home in a child's plastic toy car, one of those foot-powered models with a tiny roof and a smiley grille. He made it about 50 feet before police stopped him, probably because gravity had already done most of the work. When asked what he was thinking, he slurred, "It's eco-friendly." Technically true. 0 emissions, 100% regret. Officers noted the vehicle lacked lights, brakes, license plates, and, minor detail, an engine. He wasn't arrested for speeding. He was arrested for inventing a new category of traffic violation, DUI on a toddler's commute. Elon felt a disturbance in the force. 14. The dog who stopped talking California, 2 a.m. A woman calls animal control in tears. Her golden retriever has stopped talking. She insists the dog is giving her the silent treatment after an argument about snacks. Dispatch keeps her on the line, trying to decode whether she means barking, whining, anything. Nope. She genuinely believes her dog used to speak English and is now withholding conversation. Officers arrive to find no dog. She doesn't own one. Somewhere between tequila and imagination, she filed a missing conversation report with the government. On the bright side, the imaginary dog is finally getting some peace and quiet. 15. Ramen detonation protocol. In Japan, a sake-fueled gourmet attempted instant noodles, no water, lid on, straight into the microwave. He essentially built a starch grenade. 2 minutes later, boom! Noodle shrapnel on the ceiling, broth perfume in the curtains, and a microwave that died defending the home. He told friends it was a learning experience. Yes, the lesson being that microwaves aren't sorcery, and plastic lids are not pressure valves. Somewhere, Gordon Ramsay sighed so loudly seismologists logged it as a minor event. Cleanup time, 3 hours. Cook time, 2 minutes. IQ lost, unconfirmed, but heavily seasoned. 16. The kayak to Taco Bell expedition Canada. Midnight. A woman, hammered and starving, sees a lake and has a vision. Taco Bell is on the other side. Spoiler, there isn't a Taco Bell within 50 miles, and she can't swim. She borrows a kayak, launches into pitch-black water, and immediately discovers paddling is hard when you're auditioning for World's Dizzier Human. Halfway across, hypothermia and reality set in. Rescuers fish her out shivering and furious that no tacos materialized. Charges pending, dignity canceled, craving unresolved. Columbus crossed an ocean for spices. She barely crossed a cove for imaginary chalupas. 17. Spider-Man's lawsuit with Gravity, Arizona. A man finishes just a couple and decides he's Spider-Man. He scales his house, climbs onto the roof, and strikes a heroic pose for absolutely no audience. The mission lasts 14 seconds. Gravity files an injunction. He falls into a bush, stands up, and yells, "Nailed it!" Neighbors report a superhero with the agility of a garden hose. EMTs arrive to find minor scrapes, major confidence, and one very angry shrub. Lesson: the only thing you can stick to while drunk is a bad idea. Even Marvel wouldn't greenlight the amazing fall and get back up man. 18. The emergency sushi run. In Los Angeles, a guy got drunk at 3 a.m. and realized he needed sushi. Not wanted, needed, like a man possessed by soy sauce. So he called 911 to report a fish emergency. When dispatch asked if someone was hurt, he said, "Only my soul." Police showed up, and he tried to order them sashimi. They didn't find it funny. He spent the night in a holding cell, asking every officer if they had chopsticks. The real tragedy? He never got his sushi. The next morning, his mugshot looked like every man who's ever regretted the words, "One more sake." 19. The bride of the ATM. In Las Vegas, where else? A woman stumbled out of a bachelorette party and decided to propose to an ATM. She knelt, gave a heartfelt speech about how it always gave her what she needed, and tried to insert the ring into the cash slot. When security arrived, she told them she was just committing to financial stability. Honestly, that's more long-term planning than most relationships there. The machine, unresponsive as always, declined the proposal. Somewhere, a Wells Fargo branch manager has security footage that perfectly captures modern love. Desperate, drunk, and slightly overdrawn. 20. The smart house arrest. In Germany, a man got wasted and decided to break into a house, his own. He forgot he lived there. Thinking it was someone else's property, he called the police on himself for attempted burglary. When officers arrived, he proudly handed himself over, saying, "You got me." They asked for ID. It had the same address. He broke into his own home, confessed, and still somehow got fined for public disturbance. On the bright side, at least he made it home safe, eventually. On the not-so-bright side, he now has a criminal record for trespassing into his own living room. 21. The pool float odyssey. A guy in Florida, again, decided to drift home after a night out on a pink inflatable flamingo. He jumped into a canal, confident he'd just float to his place. Unfortunately, currents don't care about vibes. By sunrise, he was 2 miles offshore, sunburnt, dehydrated, and still clutching his beer. A rescue helicopter spotted him waving the flamingo's wing like a flag of surrender. When interviewed later, he said, "I didn't think it'd go that far." That should honestly be Florida's new state motto. The Coast Guard called it reckless. The internet called it art. 22. The Great Airplane Nap Escape. A woman flying from New York to Chicago had a few too many before takeoff. Mid-flight, she decided she was done and tried to open the emergency exit to get some fresh air. When stopped by flight attendants, she argued she paid for the window seat, which apparently includes outside access. The plane diverted, she was escorted off, and reportedly yelled, "You can't cage me in the sky." That's not turbulence, that's tequila. The silver lining: her performance reminded everyone why flights shouldn't come with mini bottles the size of bad decisions. 23. The Streetlight Serenade. In Ireland, police responded to reports of a disturbing noise in a quiet neighborhood. What they found was a man passionately singing Wonderwall to a lamppost, convinced it was an ex-girlfriend who finally came back to listen. He alternated between crying, apologizing, and asking if she'd found someone taller. The lamppost, glowing indifferently, said nothing, as lampposts do. When officers tried to move him along, he said, "She lights up my life." They let him finish the chorus before arresting him, because even the cops understood. Heartbreak hits harder when the audience is made of steel. 24. The GPS that wanted to swim somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. A very drunk driver followed his GPS with biblical faith. It told him, "Turn right." He did, down a boat ramp. The car slid into the marina like a slow-motion baptism for bad decisions. He kept insisting it was recalculating, as if the next step was continue straight for 200 yards underwater. Harbor Patrol hauled him out while he argued with the dashboard like it owed him a lifeboat. Miraculously, no one was hurt, except the fish that learned what air fresheners taste like. Lesson: when your GPS says, "Take the next right," It doesn't mean into Poseidon's garage. 25. The microwave helmet. With cement. In the UK, a guy mixed cement, slid a microwave over his head for the lulz, and used the cement as a seal so it wouldn't fall off during his performance art. He was, of course, drunk. 5 minutes later, he realized oxygen is not a rumor. Friends tried to chisel him out with a butter knife. Firefighters arrived with the look of people who've seen everything and still weren't ready for this. After an hour of sawing, prying, and existential counseling, they freed him, sticky, embarrassed, and newly aware of lungs. He thanked the crew and asked if the microwave still worked. It did not. Nature invented skulls. He added a kitchen appliance and almost deleted himself. 26. Checked baggage. Human. At a European airport, a man downed just a couple at the bar, wandered past the gate, and decided the luggage belt looked like a gentle moving sidewalk to nap on. He curled up, rode through the rubber flaps, and took a scenic tour of the restricted baggage maze while snoring like a small lawnmower. Security finally spotted a sleeping human on X-ray, complete with little cartoon Z's. They woke him to a chorus of beeping alarms and stern supervisors. He apologized, asked for a blanket, and tried to rate the conveyor 5 stars for smoothness. The airline declined. The only thing he boarded that night was a cautionary tale. 27. The Zamboni Beer Run, Minnesota. Rink closes. One guy's hammered, thirsty, and inspired by machinery that goes 3 miles an hour and turns ice into glass. He steals the Zamboni. Sirens begin the slowest chase in history, a majestic glacier of stupidity sliding toward a liquor store. He waves at traffic like a parade marshal of regret. When police finally walk up, not run, walk, he explains he didn't want to drive drunk, so he chose the safest car. Points for intention, minus $1 billion for execution. He was charged with DUI on a vehicle that loses to brisk walking. Somewhere, a hockey coach still tells rookies, respect the ice, fear the idiot. 28. The DIY bungee that met a dumpster, grand finale. 2 friends, a bridge, several extension cords tied together like a friendship bracelet for physics. Add tequila and the sentence, it'll stretch. Spoiler, it didn't. He jumps. The cords snap like overcooked spaghetti and he plummets directly into a construction dumpster full of cardboard and packing foam behind a mattress store. He emerges dazed, paper cut, and inexplicably alive, looking like a raccoon that lost a fight with Amazon Prime. EMTs call it a miracle. He calls it proof the universe wanted me to bounce. Buddy, the only thing that bounced was your brain off the stupid tree. Congratulations, you invented free fall into recycling and somehow survived to tell it. Pick the winner of stupidity. Vote your favorite disaster in comments.